HBS show with lesson the screen goddess. History behind success of your role model. Yeah, Oluwa lifted me higher. Oh, now they wanna eat with me. Now they wanna drink with me. Now they see me as something. But I can't forget yesterday when they saw me as nothing. No one knows tomorrow, brother. No one knows tomorrow, sister. No one knows tomorrow, mama. No one knows tomorrow, papa. Yeah. It's the HBS show with lesson the screen goddess. History behind success of your role model.
Wow, it is HBS Show, History Behind Success. Good to have you again on today's program. Our guest on this program, his story will inspire you, is a man who believed in himself, a man who knew from his little beginning that he's going to the top, despite the fact that challenges were surrounding him to pull him off, but he remained focused. He remained determined. He did not give in to distractions from his father. He never gave in to distraction from hardship. Who is this man? He's a man who has put smiles in the faces of people. A man who has imparted positively in the life of so many people in Delta State, especially its communities, also Delta State in Nigeria and abroad. Who is this man? He is a man who helped people to succeed. Who is this man? A man who has helped the growth of economy in Delta State. Who is this man? Join me as I make welcome to the program the Chief Economy Advisor to the Governor of Delta State, Dr. Kingsley to the program.
It's the HBS show with lesson the screen goddess. History behind success of your role model. So you're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You're looking so handsome. What's the secret?
God, my parents, mother in particular.
Wow. Sir, can you tell us how you're growing up was like?
Growing up in our days was very challenging, exceedingly challenging. First, I was from a family of 18. 2 wives and 1 father. And my mother had twins twice. My stepmother had twins once. So just in between 2 of them, I have 6 kids. My father was a warden. Salary was miserable. Nothing to augment it. My mother was a petty trader. My stepmother was a farmer. All these three incomes can't take anybody away. But you begin to imagine how we managed to build a home where we all lived. So it means that some form of prudence had come into it before the rascality of many children. I call it rascality now because yes, it's possible to make as many children as possible, but you should be more concerned about how you can produce good kids.
That's right.
I just remember very vividly my father telling me then that, what's your problem if I'm making more babies? Go and focus on your life. I am determined to have responsible people, irresponsible people, any brand of thing you want, I'm ready to deliver on that.
He was telling you that.
That was his response to me. And that's more like asking me to focus on myself because I was actually the first son. There was preferential treatment for the younger wife. My mother's angle was that she's not from the same place as my father. My stepmother, they all gone now. My stepmother owns that she's son of the soil, or daughter of the soil, as the case may be. And then the bit goes on. But what was paramount was that the environment was safe. Then we had a farm to go to at will. We were compelled to learn if you wanted to succeed, because it was obvious that there was nothing anywhere to show you up if you failed. In fact, we had no alternative. So some fell by the roadside. Some who were intentional and lucky continued. First of all, I was in primary school and I failed in class 1. I failed not because I wasn't intelligent, but because I had some bad gangs. Whilst classes are on, we'll be in the bush. You join the bad gang, you join the bad gang. We'll be in the bush. And then what are we doing in the bush? We are killing fowl, boiling yam, and doing all sorts.
Feeling cool.
Yeah, feeling cool and losing substance in class.
Yes.
So I failed. And so were my other co-travelers. My father insisted that, as it was apparent then, there's no money to support anybody who can take the first opportunity. And I must go back. I was going to learn a trade. In his opinion, then, that was probably the cheapest means to take me out and still keep me relevant. So I was learning a trade. I didn't do 3-4 months there. I insisted that I want to go to school. Because I was in a situation where I was dealing with real stark illiterates. Even in my subdued position, I saw myself as very superior among those people. I could speak pretty well. I could reason well. I had realized where I goofed, and I was ready to better my lot. But I had one tenant then, one Mr. Okoye. He was a good teacher, and he had his kids were my mates. Patrick and one other one, Boboy, Patrick and Boboy, we used to call them. I've forgotten his other name. And each time they came back from school, we'll be arguing. The few times I stayed in class, all the things that I grasped, we'll argue very strongly. So the one called me one day and said to me, as natural teachers, original teachers, my middle name is Eze. What exactly was the reason why you failed? I said I wasn't staying in class most of the time. He said, we can now understand. Because he has listened to my conversation and discussion with these people. And he didn't see why I should fail because I was still brilliant 1 year after. But I told him that I'm resolved to go back to school. Of course, that met with a very stiff resistance from my father. No, you lost that opportunity. No, who has time for that? And then, well, it came with a lot of fights. My mom was handy as usual. You know, mothers are the first to spoil you. and the first to protect you. In this case, you played a great role. So that's why I named my hotel after my mother. My mother is Benesin, so I just said Benizia.
Wow.
That's an Italian word for us. And in memoriam of what she did then. Because without her massive support, I didn't think I could go anywhere. Support wasn't to fund, but support was to support me to withstand the pressure, the bullying from my dad. Of course, you know that came with some physical manhandling, but it worked. A lot of people called him and said, this man says, he had learned his lessons. I want to go back to school. The father said, that opportunity is gone. Just to discourage me, he said, okay, you must go back to primary 6. I could have fit in perfectly well in class 1, but he said, go back to primary 6. Thinking I would say no. I said, yes, I'll go back. So okay. Go back to the primary school near Eka Grammar School at Bomona. I said, yes, I will go. I didn't say. So you can see my doggedness. You know, necessity is the mother of invention. When you are pushed to the wall, you're under tremendous pressure, you're determined, you are focused, you cannot give up. You may not hit the peak, but you have gone way past where you should be. I started. So initially I was very shy. So I'll go either very early. If I go very early, by 5 I'm off. I just hang around. So before the day students will go, and when we finish, I disguise again and go back. But just over time, not quite long, they realized that's our classmate Kingsley. He did primary school. But you know what? That's what just started me in life. I finished that. My father said I must go to Shower College. It was a wonder I was there. Of course, the luxury of having to be in the boarding house is totally ruled out. So then when you did an exam, common entrance, when you pass well, some other schools will give you admission. Western boys are really being there. Gave me admission, invited. And I was also a good sportsman. He said, here. No, we did. Very challenging, state focus. I remember I started, what year was that? 74. And my mates graduated in 76, but I graduated in 79. Now, in Form 4, we were advised by about 5 of us were advised by the principal to try and do GCE level. Yeah. And we did GCE level. It was by recommendation. We did it. My mother was the one who paid for that GCE level. My father said, no. Look at this one that can't even differentiate his left from his right. You want to do GCE level when you have the exam to do the following year. I have no money to waste. My mother gave me 39 naira for a GCE level. I did that exam. And the devil put me to test. First of all, face to face with challenges, you run back to God. Within this short period of my secondary school, failing and starting, I had joined SU, Scripture Union. We were doing rallies everywhere. Everywhere. We were speaking to God. And we were actually hearing God speak to us. And I'll prove one. When it was time for me to do my GCE, that one that my mother paid for me from Form 4. You know, they used to have problem candidates. You won't have your sleep. I don't know if they happens tomorrow. There's no technology there. So I didn't get it. And I was dead prepared for it. But I was very determined. So I left 2 days to when my exam is supposed to start. 3 days. I fasted and prayed before God and man. God gave me direction. We used to have transit buses, intra-city buses. In my dream, came out, entered the bus. I saw the school, description of the school. But what somebody can tell you today that the devil was at work, I didn't believe the devil was at work. I believe that the devil exists, but I don't believe that if I can't grasp something fully, I blame a third party for all my gaps. I woke up. I said, wow, I found my center. So that morning I just took off. In patience, in that my dream, I saw two buses, one going up, one going down. In my haste, I joined the one going up. But when I was going towards the grammar school, I said this was not where I saw in my dream. I didn't have more money, another money to pay for another one to come down. So you know when you get to your terminal point, everybody must come down. Then new people enter. I didn't come down. If I don't have money, I stayed there. So when we go down, we crossed. I saw the primary school close to, I think it's Anglican. They're close to the Anglican church by the bridge in Agbo. I said, this is what I saw in my dream. But they have taken me past to the next bus stop. And I came down. And I came back, followed that short path. I remember graphically. And I followed them. I left all, because I came from behind, I left all the classrooms and went to the last one. That's what I saw in my dream. People were already doing their exams. We started earlier because I had 2-3 days to start my exam. And I just went in there. I said, what's going to happen? I said, my name is Kingsley, is a problem candidate. I don't have it. I just want to check whether this is my center. He just took the document, looked at it. Boom.
Your name?
Wow. God works. It's our dream. And if you wait on him, you will really see him. He answers prayers. So if you hear or see somebody who say God doesn't answer prayer, the person does not exist.
That's true. The
kind of prayers that God answers, you must also be supportive of what you're doing. You must be intentional. You must back it up. It's not about praying forever. You know, the Bible is not scripture. There's no food for lazy. It could have actually been scripture. There's no food for lazy. But the Bible is very clear. Say faith without works is dead. Works means that you must be intentional, you must go for it. Whilst waiting, you must prepare. You needed to see me scream. There was no telephone to call my mother and share the joy. Because my mother was very worried. Which kind of bad luck? I said, it's not bad luck. I went back and I told her I found it. I said, you found it? I broke my fast after seeing my center. And I prayed and I praised God endlessly. To cut a long story short, the result came out 5 credits, 5 out of 5. My father, who had a barracks on worship, some of his colleagues did that exam with me. One had 2, one had 3. So typical in the barracks, because they will elevate them to the next level as warders. They just organized a party to celebrate it. So one of them just said, hey, Emerson, I thought you did this exam. I said, I did. He said, did? He said, yes. He said, so, what did you get? I said, I had 5 credits. He said, what? He said, yes. He said, they were paying me this to stop. That's Elmo's son who did this exam with Elmo's son. Elmo is my father.
Yes.
And they're calling. And the guys are just, we could have been mates. But they're slightly older than me. That the guy said he had 5 credits. My father said, which kind of 5 credits? Meanwhile, in school, I was among the first 3. Go and ask my colleagues. Because I was so determined that failure cannot get close to me anymore. So I left. They just go and bring your paper. Yes, I don't know that you notice you sleep. It's like this. I just went and brought it and showed them. They say it's true.
And your father was there.
He was there. He started getting excited. He said, but you didn't tell me. I said, I'm sorry, sir. It's not a time to argue. Not this one that the children argue with you these days. They tell you that I didn't tell you. Say you have forgotten. That's what my daughter would do. Just tell me you have forgotten. Don't tell me that I didn't tell you. Why wouldn't I tell you? Have you forgotten the circumstance? If it's these days, my daughter will tell me, check your chat trail. Check your WhatsApp, daddy. You understand? Or check your mail.
Yeah.
There was no evidence other than talk there. So we concluded that date, and they asked me to come to the party, and I drank. Because as a young man, I was very rascal, very exceedingly rascal, a good dependable helping. So we finished. My father said I should go and do. Then they used to do TC2 then, Teachers Training College, and they put you on level 6. They said I should go and go to. So I can just start life with level 6, which is very good for me. But before then, I just finished my WAEC. We were just waiting for our results. I had a grade 1. My father said I should go and do this. I said, no, I want to do A levels. He said, no, I should go and do TC2. Well, so one of my teachers came and said, why will this man go and do A levels? The man is very bright. Let him sit back at home and do A levels from home whilst working, so I can raise money to go to school. It was a wise counseling there, but it slowed me down. I didn't want to be slowed down because I had lost 3 years in between when I should have graduated. I graduated 79 when I should graduate 76 with my mates, where you could find jobs easily. So I became a teacher. I started teaching. Whilst I was teaching, Otolopo, that's secondary school, secondary primary school or secondary, I can't remember. And I think it was a primary school. But I was an athlete. I played basketball. Because in 79, I had represented Bendel State at the sports festival, Lori 79. And we were part of those that they took to the US to train basketball. So I was a good sportsman. So when we came back after that competition, the sports council, Bendel Sports State Council offered me a job. So I was combining that job with teaching job. Tell you how we used to run. When it was time what we did to sustain ourselves, because we were part-time, we were sports athletes. We'll get a letter from sports council to the headmaster. Your ward has been invited to Bendel State Sports Council to. The man will say, please make sure you talk to them about us. So you talk to them because they go to education board and talk to them. So I was able to do 2 jobs. I couldn't wait to do part-time in both. I just applied to Federal School of Arts and Science. My late friend, Charles Okongo, and a very good friend, a good inspiration to me. They all went there with the fire one time. They're very good friends. And they dragged me there. And I went there. So when I was going, I told my father I was going. He had the story at the back of his mind that his friend already told him that I'm too good to go to do A levels. I should sit back here and work and do that. I just had budgeted some of those things. I had saved quite a bit of money. And Federal School of Arts and Science will go there. They used to give us transport fare, free school, free accommodation, and free transport. So my father knew when I was going to leave. He had expected me to come a day earlier, but no, I prepared my things because I had money to go. When I got to his house in Washington, I begged the transporter to just so I can just look in and collect something from him. And my stepmother, we're close, pretty close. They are late now. Said to me, my dad has just gone home. Gone to Airport to see me. That he had canes in his car. First thing he would have done was just to open cane on me. And I can understand why. The pain of having to spend another money. It's not because he's that a bully, but just to intimidate me out of that area. Maybe take a pound of flesh from me for not adhering to what he wanted me to do by staying back, studying A levels and passing A levels and having enough money to go to university. I want to do A levels. I left. When I left a note for him. I'm able to pay my school fees for the first year. I will appreciate if you can help me with the second time. And he wrote me for the first time. He wrote me a love letter. First time ever. Very emotional. It's my late brother who destroyed that letter. I kept that letter as a testimony that this man still has some emotions in him. I kept it. And thanked me that he actually came to Agbo to make sure he dealt with me. But after reading my letter, when he came back, when he told me I had left, he rushed back to show so that he was also interested and committed to me to going back to school. Despite the first default thing of anger, knock him down, and all that. You know, people have different ways of ventilating, of managing expressing anger to get it out of him. So, and that he was very pleased, and he's convinced that I was going to be successful. So we finished. I came back. I told him, we don't pay school fees anymore. So we passed. I wanted to do law. I had 7 points. I was a bit weak. What's that again? Is that BDE or whatever? Yeah, but that's 4, 2, 1. There's 7 points. And then law started then in Uniben. They took 9 points, 8 points. So I decided to teach in a while with secondary commercial. And applied to do sociology.
Okay, continue after this break. All right, in case you're just joining us, it is HBS Show, History Behind Success, and our guest on this program is Dr. Kingsley Amo, Chief Economic Advisor to the Governor of Delta State. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
It's the HBS Show with lesson the screen goddess. History behind success of your role model. HBS Show with lesson the screen goddess. History behind success of your role model.
Good to know that you're still there. Before that break, our guest on this program, Dr. Kingsley Amo, was telling us how he was able to go to school, pay his first school fees for the first time without his father's support. So tell us, how were you able to cope during your university days?
Okay, immediately after the A-levels, I had to go and teach at the One Secondary Commercial. And I raised some money through teaching. It was 100 or something naira were paid then. But the value was higher, is higher than your minimum wage today. Yeah, and I saved money, quite some money, and applied to UIM and had to go and study sociology. The journey to university was even tougher. And the journey secondary school period. It's UI, and it was well. I was sociable, I was hardworking. So before school resumes, we go to construction sites and do job to raise money to go back to school. I remember one friend of mine, Monday Oko, always said to me, Eze, you never want to go back. It's school. If you want to go back, every compound will know now. You and your papa will drag money. So immediately he said that, especially after my first semester, I didn't bother to argue with my dad anymore. I chose to go to. My dad was tired anyway, so he was a lot weaker this time. The other children had sprung up. So it was only natural that I become concentrate and focus on my life and how to get back. Because I could have worked with my A-levels, but yes. I chose to get that degree because I knew that the value of the degree will enhance my career and who I want to be. Especially when I failed in class one, I told myself that I must get to the zenith of learning. And that's a doctor. So that target was in view and always on my radar. So I kept that there. And I went to UI. And the interesting thing about UI, yes, spent the 3 years. Yes, I did all the bad things in school. Journal, calls you can think about and all that. And but what was unique about the school was that my survival instinct was strengthened. It's 0-1-0 feeding. Anytime you had constipation, you would thank God. You know constipation will have now, you call a doctor. You get some Epsom salt or get some coffee, some laxative too. Yes. You will be very happy because you will never eat. You will never eat. You will be in confidence, but you are not hungry. So that was how bad it was. Besides, I have never entered a vehicle from Motor Park in Agbo to Ibadan. How am I going to enter it? Who will fund me?
So how do you do it? Like
the law called Sole along the road. We will come out, go to Rikeze Avenue, which was an open place where vehicles going towards Benin will apply through and even go through Lagos. And people were kind and humane then. People never wanted to drive alone in the car, and they could be their brother's keeper. That was the era in which we thrived. You stop them, they carry you. They drop you off in Benin, say they are going to this place where they can't go far. They drop you close. If you are lucky, you see the one going to Lagos. If you are not lucky, you see the one going to Benin. It drops you in Benin. Once it drops you in Benin, free, you will enter a bus, Bowo campus.
Okay.
When you get to Bowo campus, that whole area, there are free vehicles running to Lagos. Go in that direction. You see Lagos. They need a companion in the car. They will size you up. Crime was minimal. No bomo, no yahoo, no quartet, no kidnap, no human. They existed, but very minimal. Society had value. The orientation was good. We never begged, for crying out loud. We never begged. This begging culture is nauseating to me. The begging culture we have today is born more out of laziness than any other thing. Because people have thrown away shame. Married women are begging. If a married woman begs, the next necessary thing is that she compromises everything that she has. Single girls are begging. Men who are driving jeeps are begging. Those who are trekking are begging. The society requires a lot of orientation. We lost our value. They will take us to Ojota. I'm going to Ibadan, remember?
Yes.
When I get to Ojota, I'll cross to that petrol station on the other side of Ojota and stay there. There are vehicles big lorries going to Ilorin. You will jump into it with the motorboy at the back. So you're going to Ibadan. They'll drop you by our job, if you know Ibadan well. By our job, you can access UI. From Ojo to Independent Hall, where I was close to 7 kilometers. And I had my bag. That's how I landed in school. And what I'm telling you, I left about 8 to. By 6 p.m., I'm just landing around there. What could I have eaten in that vehicle? I shared bread and water with the motorboy and all that. And that was good. So, hygiene. In fact, that's what I know, that God protects the needy.
Yeah.
Because if you see a madman who is not even using face masks, is not doing non-pharma protocols, is not using sanitizer, is not using anything, it doesn't have COVID. But you are in your bedroom, you're having COVID. So you get vulnerable, your system gets more immune because of the environment. I'll trek. So when I get back, I will look like a cow that has traveled for 10 days without rest and water. And you sleep off. Anywhere you drop your bag, you sleep. You will sleep. It was fun. But it strengthened me. I was lucky to have met some people in secondary school who mentored us how to be sociable, party. I've always been a party person. I used to be a very big party person. I stopped all those things because I thought I had everything about it. I wanted to have all parties. So I was sociable, so I could mingle. And we managed through that phase. Even when I came back to do masters, the same thing. I saved 800 naira. My younger brother's girlfriend then, a junior Ghanaian, I've been trying to reach that Ghanaian to see how I can say thank you, because she wasn't married to my brother, she was a boyfriend, girlfriend. They had to lend me 1,500 naira. That 1,500 naira was what I used to go to school to do masters. I paid, by the time I finished paying accommodation, we used to call it Student Village. I think they call it Awolowo Hall now. We could call it Student Village strictly for masters in UM. And pay for my registrations and the fees that we pay them. I had only 100 naira or so left. And I knelt down and thanked God. So far I've accomplished everything I need. From now on, it's struggle. So if it's just what to eat, it's very easy for me because I can hustle out anything. So we started. I had a Cameroonian and I had a friend, I don't want to mention, protect people. So I had a girlfriend who gave me her money to keep. I started going to Lagos with the money to buy materials to come and sell to Cameroonians. So at least Africa showed it to them. Massa.
So you saw that quick.
Yes, this material is very good. I say yes. I'll do margins. They started calling me student millionaire. The lady I was dating then, very modest, from very responsible and rich home. Very unassuming. Helped a lot. I remember she studied veterinary medicine and she would go into her class. She would come in, I would drop her. She would bring the vehicle for me. So I would go to my class. She would come back to my faculty then, take her vehicle and go because she still faculty. Now, some of the money she gave me to keep was what I used. I doubled it. And they started calling me student millionaire. Some even think that
the level changed.
She was big
boy.
So, and within that, I was able to pay common entrance GCE exam for my late younger brother now, even whilst I was in school. So the journey towards life, towards progress, is not about silver spoon or golden spoon. And what I always say, go watch around your environment. All the children of those big men there in your environment, they're not any better than you. Because you were intentional in what you were doing. You were not spoiled. If I failed in any of those things, I want the brunt of bringing myself back on track was mine. So why would I want to move in the first instance? So I must pass. And pass is not by all means. It is by true hard work.
Yes.
And combination with study. And it was well.
Yeah.
So it's going through that process taught me that everything is possible with you. With true determination and with God by your side.
Yes. So tell us, how did you go into business, like hotel and other business?
I remember my good friend Kingsley from Edo State. We did masters together, and he said to me, Kingsley, no, I don't people don't travel at all. He said, Kingsley, I'm going back to Benin to teach. I think it was my colleague in BSc, my first degree. So I'm going back to. I said no. I said I'd rather take a 300 naira job in Lagos than take a 1,000 naira job in Delta. I said because you have more opportunities in that environment. We started doing all kinds of things. I was stringing, I was writing for newspapers. I worked for Top Magazine. I was writing on features. I was doing a whole lot of things. The money wasn't coming until I got a breakthrough through Victor Dozie and had to go to CBN. And I thank God for. I'm very much in touch with him till tomorrow. He gave me that big break. And what happened? I went to do that interview. Yeah, I came back because he was deputy governor. He came back. He said to me, "So what happened?" I said, "I'll pass that exam, but I am afraid that they'll victimize you." So what happened? Why would they victimize you again, Kingsley? I said, "Sir, when we went for that interview, they asked us simple questions. What did you observe about this question? It wasn't a structured interview. It wasn't. They were asking same question over and over and over and over with several people, and they left everybody who attended first to mingle with those that they met. I think we just come and say, "Oh, boy, how did you work?" They say, "I answered the question, but now one and off answer. Which one with that one? Tell her." So I spoke back. So when I got in, I said to them, yes, everything has gone well. There's so much transparency, but there appears not to be objectivity. Because a situation where those who finished their interview mingles with those who have not done interview, prospects of sharing the same information and challenges. I remember that deputy director of training was praying then. I think it was Usman was praying there. When I wanted to leave, he did them like this. He said, yes, so so what did you say is the problem? And I told him, I said, it's not a problem. It's something that can be remedied. Separate them. So when I finished my interview and I walked through the door, I don't need to mingle with them. So I don't bias them. Because they have information already of what's going on in there. And then that's an extra advantage to them. So he said to me, that's how you will behave as if you know too much. If they ask you now what's the highest revenue earner from Nigeria, I just said oil. I didn't even wait for him to do it. He said I should go. Lo and behold, they took that advice. Because immediately I went out, it took them another 5 minutes. When I came and said, you spend so much time, everybody has been attending this and coming out. You spent you took 3 people's time. I was just explaining to them when I started talking. I remember. And I said to him, this is what you complained against. This is what you are doing here now. And actually, what did he come out to do? He wanted to separate the teams. So what I told him, he said, no, they can't victimize you. He called him, he said, sir. He said, my cousin came for an interview. His name is Kingsley and he's scared that you victimize him. That he said he raised some issues. The man said, no, he did well. He said, bring his paper up. I was there. He brought my paper. I had 76.
Wow.
I was about second in that Ibadan axis. So the deputy governor, he told me, you have done well. The rest is for me to handle. I can push his case. He took my case, wrote a memo to Ahmed, the governor of Central Bank. And this is his cousin, did exceedingly well. He will appreciate if he can approve his appointment. And the man approved for the day. So when I came to do my documentation, they said, you wait, they not even take this the way and take back door, long leg. Now you they give us one, they say you won't start first. Hold on. I said, no, now they have given me an appointment now. Let me tidy up. They said they want to batch us up in the group that will go for. I said, but let me start first. It's first come advantage. I will finish. So Central Bank grant me, did well. I was a senior supervisor 1, paid me slightly higher. Then I moved from there. When I found out that I was going to sit on one desk for 4 years, I'm not used to be queuing up everywhere. So I rather go for my equity is always in the marketplace. I believe that and what I was worth more than what I was offered, and the opportunities existed then. I left for Group Merchant Bank, 1989. From Group Merchant Bank, I moved to Fidelity. From Fidelity Bank, I became a senior manager there. I moved to the bank, then left as a group executive in Finbank, 2009. Whilst I was there, I said to myself, when you retire, what will you do? So I'm always a very forward-looking person. Just as I'm planning my retirement from government now. What will you want to do, Kingsley? I said, I want to go back to Delta. What do you want to do in Delta? I want to be part of the economy of Delta. How do you get into economy? A lot of things came to my head. I said, build a big home because I had resources. I already had a hostel running in America, 122 bedrooms. That one was 1991. I built a building that 122 bedrooms. So I was getting revenue. I've always used to buy land. There are lands that I bought for 74,000 naira. I paid twice. I couldn't pay that fully in 1991. I paid twice. The land is still there, about 7,000 square meters. Some that I bought for 11,000 square meters, I paid 150,000 naira. So I have always known how to build wealth, and I believe that wealth is in the ground. You don't feed it, get a good title, you have good challenges, litigation, or you're prepared for it to have a good title. The law may be slow, but it catches up. That's why they call it the long arm of the law. Long arm of the law. So that's it. And then I said to myself, what business can you do in Delta? How do you get into the power frame to be able to get into the economy? Politics, I said no. Build a hotel. I said the concept of hotel. I said hotel will create an avenue where people will come, you begin to engage, discuss with people, make friends, network, and have your breakthrough. And that was it. That was where the concept of hotel business came. And then we went to Italy, where I was consulting for somebody, and we went to Venezia.
Okay.
Yeah, they call it Venice, but it's Venezia, where you was using a gondola. And that's where the first concept of this hotel came, the first main building. Before I started doing the other commercial components in that place. And we started it out. And then we took 50 million naira loan from First Bank. It was savings. Because I had a small consulting firm, which still exists, but laid down on now, Camp Benefits Limited. We are financial advisors and organizational. We do financial advisory and organizational diagnosis. My doctorate is in management and organizational leadership. So I can uncouple, like a surgeon, I can uncouple a company and then recouple it and fit it properly using major social tools to navigate that entire process.
All right. So tell us, just before we go, tell us, how did you meet your wife?
Now, I met my wife, I'll tell you, it's a long story. 1986, when we were doing our youth service, I didn't have money to go to camp. So the small money that I had dropped me off in Zaria. So I went to meet my friend who was serving there. After 2 days, he found me money to go to camp where I was serving. I got to the airport to park. I entered motor properly this time. I don't know where you were. So from Zaria to Kano. And we got there. When I got there, and there was this lady. And I asked her, I said she was just coming from London. She would not have a vacation. I told her, I have had a problem myself, that I was coming here. I lied. I was coming to this place with my car. And he had an answer. It's packaging. Look at you. So I was coming here, but the car had an accident. He's been in Zaria. As I speak to her, I have no one kobo with me. And she said, don't bother. She chatted very cool and put me to charge. I had no one kobo in my pocket. The only thing to take me to Kano. Packaging. And that was based on both survival, yes, and nature as a young man. And I play basketball, so they occasionally admire me. So myself and my friends, he plays basketball to UI. So we saw one to Kano. Kano has a huge okrika market. Just went there. Buy good okrika basketball shorts. All this one they bring from the US over here. Clean them all, come back, show. And saw us were like professionals. So that attracted more people. And in the midst of all that, that's what too many women there. So I didn't want to stick to any person. For me, yes, I respected her. I was appreciative of what she did. But I moved on. There was no intention then. Yeah. I said, can we date? She said, no, when we leave the camp. I laughed. I almost died of laughter. I said, this one thing on the baby. Once we leave camp, where will I see her? I won't wait. I said, no problem. Every evening she will see me in their female hostel. She said, what are you doing here? I said, I have other friends who want me to see them. And then she couldn't take it anymore. One Kennedy said he was my roommate. Yeah, was my roommate, lawyer here. And eventually we started. She agreed I would date. When she saw that I had run out of hands, I was uncontrollable. And then all those. I told her, you want to use me here and go to the larger market and shop bigger. Here is a smaller world. We reign here. We rule here. It's an animal kingdom. Once you have a lion, every other person will. But when you go to the bigger markets, it's over. Yeah, so that's how we started. Nicely. To cut a long story short, I saw her and then we started. So she went to England. When it was time I was ill, I was working for Central Bank then. And she came. She came. She heard I was ill and came. I said, oh no, this is the right person to do it. That's how we got married.
Okay. So just before we go, your advice to our youth, because so many youth today, they really want to make it big, but very few of them want to remain focused.
Now, the lesson why I decided to go public with my story is because of the lessons that can be drawn, given what we see today, especially in the political environment. That you must be intentional in what you're doing. The first lesson is that hardship has started a long time in this country. So it didn't start now. It's worse now because the environment is unsafe, but desperation has made the environment unsafe. So as a young man, please stay focused. Have a goal. Where do you want to be? There is no amount of hurry. I will always say that the shortest route, every shortcut is the longest cut. Because if you shunt in front and they drive you out, you go back to the end of the line to start. That's what we need to tell ourselves. So therefore, keep it straight and make sure you get to your destination. Have a focus in mind. Hardship has started a long time. Be innovative about your environment. You have a government today that has offered more than any other government opportunities to youth to grow in all manners of entrepreneurship training and skills. I have loads and loads of them. A lot of construction work going on all over the state. You go to Okpanam here, you see only outside people hanging out to do the job. Where are people? And they, instead of coming there, they put their hands in their pocket, come to your office to knock for you to give them money. So hardship will endure for a while. Once you have that breakthrough, you are done and made for life. A proper wealth is not to be, a money earned properly is not to be dissipated. This is an environment where somebody does a contract, he buys a Jeep, the following day comes here, he says, please help me bless this Jeep, but I not get money for petrol consumption. You move, you are living in one bedroom, you just hammer small, if you expand yourself, you go take a 3-bedroom, you buy one car for your wife, you move your children from a normal school, you don't even give attention to school programs, they go to the biggest, most expensive school here, you don't have a sustainable income, the thing begins to impact on the family cash flow and pressure. You have 2 cars idling around. I always teach, when I teach people, I said, look, inspirational teaching, I said, that parcel of land beside your father's house in the village that you refused to buy and went for the second luxury car, go back 5 years and ask of that land and the price, and think of where that car, your extra luxury, took you to. I don't have a problem with utility vehicles, but I have a problem with the luxuries when it is not right. I was very excited when you told me about this program. Because this program is not just about talking about me, it's about the lessons that people must learn from it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time on this program. We've come to the end of this program, HBS Show. Know that you had a swell time today with our guest, Dr. Kingsley Emu, the Chief Economic Advisor to His Excellency Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, the Governor of Delta State. I like what he just said. He said that as a young man or a young woman, remain focused. Stay focused and determined. You will definitely get to that place of destination. And he also said that there is time and season to everything under the earth. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube, HBS Show with Blessing. And I am Blessing Ofomie. We'll do it again next week. Don't miss it for any reason.
It's the HBS Show with Blessing, the screen goddess. History behind success of your role model.